Juwan, a couple of guys mentioned defensive rebounding as an area for improvement. What did you see there tonight?
I would not disagree with our guys when they say that, looking at the rebound margin, we gave up 17 offensive rebounds, and that cannot happen. We cannot have a recipe of giving up that many offensive rebounds in any league, whether it's non-conference or if it's Big Ten.
Does that come down to maybe boxing out as a technique sort of thing, or do you think that's an overall effort sort of
out,
thing?
Energy and effort, and that's it's correctable. We'll get to it and we'll make sure we get better with it.
At the same time, the energy and the effort on defense seem to be there, and they seem to be pretty connected for the first time. Are you pretty pleased with that?
Yes. I think going back to our scrimmage, I was very pleased with our defensive effort. Also, I was loving the fact that our activity around the ball, we're getting deflections, but I think our deflections, of course, can be a little bit higher than what it was. Contesting shots, we didn't give up many open shots, but our goal is to always make sure that we do not give up open shots, and when we do, make sure that we contest without fouling. I also love the fact that we moved our feet defensively and not allow many blow-bys. And so there's growth. Our defense looked really good, but we can always get better.
Juwan, the ball movement looked very good. Would you agree, or what do you think?
That's a very good observation, because I said that to our team for post-game. I really loved our ball movement on how we shared the game when there was opportunities where a guy could have had an open shot, but he saw a guy closing out, moved it to another guy who was wide open. Whether you get a wide open shot, you make it or miss it, we always had to have that next play mentality. If you get that same shot, you take that same shot again. And one guy I can think of is Brandon Johns. He had a few open shots in the beginning of the game, didn't fall, and then he had another shot, his third, I believe it was his third shot, took it. I'm talking about the shot that he did not drive, not that one, the one he took the open shot. It's like, that's exactly the mentality that our guys must have moving forward for this season.
Juwan, it sounded like there were a few times you were encouraging the guys to get up the floor as quickly as possible in transition. Is this a team that you think can thrive in transition throughout the season?
We've always, from my time here with Xavier Simpson, we've always tried to get points in transition to keep our opponents in scramble mode. We will continue to keep focusing on that. The most important part is staying organized in transition.
Talk about Moose's energy and how much fun he seems to be having out there.
It's inspiring to watch. Freshman with that energy and plays with that tenacity and effort. His teammates enjoy it. You can see that how they are inspired by it with how they clap for him. You hear them, encouraging him and applauding his effort. That's what makes Moose special, because he's going to play hard no matter what, and from start to finish, and that's how he's wired. And I'm happy that Moose is on our side.
That dunk he had, the N1 in transition, is that something you've been seeing in practices?
That's something I've been seeing since he was at IMG.
Juwan, when we spoke yesterday.
Yes, ask your question. Sure. He's been doing that in practice too.
When we talked yesterday, you talked about how grateful you were for having such a deep team this year and a deep roster. You got to see 13 guys in action tonight. I'm curious, is it maybe what you thought you would see? Were there some surprises maybe towards the end of the bench, or is it pretty consistent with what you've seen in the preseason?
I wish I could play all of them, because they all deserve to play, because what I've seen in practice, everyone has competed. Guys have bought into the teaching and applying everything that's being taught with myself and my staff. How they, with their character and how they, accept coaching, it's a beauty to watch, and that's why I feel like I wish I had enough minutes to be able to give everyone minutes. But they understand that this is a season of sacrifice, but you must always be ready when your name is called, because you just never know. If you recall last season, I put Terrence Williams in the game the last possession, and he got the last stop. That's the amount of trust that I've had because I've watched him in practice when he was a freshman. And I knew he was ready for that moment. But there can be a lot of guys that can be in that moment at any time. Jace, Isaiah, Will, they all are going to be in that situation. They just had to be ready when their name is called.
17 turnovers, is that a little bit higher than you would, right?
I was expecting more in the 20s because it's your first game, man. First time you're playing in front of the crowd. Our first game, non-conference, when I was a freshman, playing at Cobalt Hall, we had 30 turnovers, and we won by 30.
Anything else, fellas?
What do you make of Devontae's game? I mean, it looked like he been playing with these guys for a long time and solid defensively.
Yes, and the guy, knows how to play basketball. And, he's not going to go out his way to go outside the team. He's going to do everything to help the team, whether it's on the defensive end or offensive end. I'm sure he has a chip on his shoulder from a guy who's been in the mid-major and had success there for 4 years, and now he gets an opportunity to play in a Power 5 conference. Those kind of guys, man, are very interesting. And the level of competitor that he is and what he represents is everything what Michigan basketball is all about.
Looked like coming out of halftime, he got himself going on the defensive end, and that led to some offense for him. Do you see him being that type of player?
He's going to be some of everything. You see that corner three that he made? We're going to need that too. He's going to do a lot of everything. Defensively and offensively, we're going to need DJ to be DJ because he's a special player.
Juwan, do you expect to be without Zeb or Frankie when the regular season starts next week?
Not sure. Taking it day by day.
Thoughts on Caleb's first game?
Caleb, he looked like a man that's been playing here for a long time. He just knows how to play and fits right in and doesn't try to do too much. He competes. He's going to get better and better. He's just a freshman. And, there are going to be some days when you have some ups and downs. That's a part of being a freshman. Everyone goes through it when you play in college basketball. Every freshman has that. Hopefully he stays consistent with his. Give us great play every time, all the time. But I understand as a coach that the reality will set in where there are going to be some times when we all go through some tough patches, but we just got to keep forging ahead.